Good day, everyone. I just wanted to give you my feedback on what happened at the Concord, the kind of arguments that were heard, and this is all with regards to the local government elections. And the IEC approaching the Concord and using all the heavyweight paraphernalia that you get within the legal system to fight their cause for them. And at this stage, it's just interesting to see how this battle is unfolding in the Concord, the kind of questions that the Concord judges are asking, and some of the mindsets that have been put out there. I did a video on the African National Congress, the ruling party, that might not be able to actually get all their candidates registered in time, and therefore might not be able to actually field candidates for the local government elections. And I want to say one simple thing. If that is the case and we go ahead with the elections, the country will burn. There's no ways that this can take place. So if the African National Congress don't get their nominations in on time, it'll be one of the worst destabilization events in the country's history. So there's no ways that you cannot have the ruling party there as a participant in any elections and expect stability to reign. And I can understand why the main opposition, like the DA, wants to go ahead with the elections now, because they've got all their ducks in a row. They can put all their candidate lists through, and what that would mean is that you would be voting for. Many people wouldn't have the option of voting for the African National Congress, as there won't be a candidate to actually vote for. Now, to the DA, that might sound wonderful. They would actually end up probably winning, when that would not be a democratic process. And the people of the country, at the end of the day, like I said, are the final arbiters. And this is why the election process needs to be free and fair, and why everyone should feel that it was a equitable process. Everyone had equal chances and opportunities. Now, on the financial front, that will never be the case. But with regards to the opportunity to be able to vote, for the opportunity to actually have your candidates have their ducks in a row in times, and all their lists and monies and everything submitted and paid, that opportunity has to be there. And that is important for stability in the country. So I really don't care what your political affiliation is. If the African National Congress cannot field their candidates, these elections are not going to go ahead. They won't go ahead for a couple of reasons. Firstly, they can either be postponed by the Concord, and I will speak about that now because this is a topic under discussion, or it will physically be impossible to hold elections because the country will not be in a physical state to do so. And I don't have to divulge what that could mean. You can read between the lines. And this is something I want to avoid at all costs. It's very important that we maintain stability in the country, and that the transition that we are putting in place with a plan that's rolling out, and the people that have missed the plan, either you don't understand it, or you don't have ears that want to listen. And I always tell people, if you don't want to follow the plan, create your own and drive that plan. So it's not rocket science. And if you don't understand or believe in the plan that I'm following myself, then leave and do your own thing. Because that is what liberty is. It is the right for you to come up with something better and promote that as much as you can. So let's go back to the Concord ruling, which has not happened yet. The Concord ruling will definitely be groundbreaking. And the first question the Concord is asking, and one of the judges asked, is, should we rule on this? Why should we do the job of Parliament? Because what they are saying is that Parliament should come up with a 75% vote in favor of changing the Constitution to actually allow for the elections to be extended under a condition such as the COVID-19 situation that we've found ourselves in, or the so-called COVID-19 situation, and the fact that people have not been able to go and register to vote. Only 17,000 people have registered to vote for these local government elections. Now, a lot more people have gotten to the age of 18 since the last local government election. So you would need registration campaigns, and we have not been able to have those because of the regulations imposed by government. So why did government go and proclaim the elections and actually close the voters' roll when that happened, which means that no other person could actually go and register to vote? That's already taking the free and fair out of it completely. It's not even negotiable. And when the lawyers for the IEC laid this before the Concord acknowledged that this is obviously a huge problem. But what a lot of the judges are asking is, why isn't Parliament fulfilling this function? Why don't they just do their job and change the Constitution? But the amount of time involved in that would mean debates and all sorts of things. The time is what's against us, because the elections were declared for the 27th of October. And this is around the corner. It's literally 2 months away. And the 23rd, which is Monday, the 23rd of August, is the day by which all the parties should have submitted all their candidates. And many of the candidates wouldn't have had a chance if they moved from one area to the next to actually have registered as a voter in the new area where they live. And so they would not be eligible, because many of the people have battled with the online platform that the IEC has provided. So there were no voter registration weekends that took place at all, and this is a problem. I've been part of voter registration weekends in the past, and it's an awesome process to actually see, where the IEC puts up tents or have halls, school halls, church halls, where people can come and register to vote, to make it easier for them. Under the current circumstances, that did not happen. So why is this important? Firstly, because there's three things that needs to be met under our constitution with regards to elections. The elections needs to be free, they need to be fair, and the other thing is that they actually take place within the time frame prescribed. So the time frame prescribed runs out at the end of October under the current constitution. But you also have to meet the freeness and fairness of the elections. And the free and fair part is where things fall flat. So this is where our constitution currently actually does not work. And it's interesting how the very lawyers that fought against Liberty Fighters Network in court are now fighting and actually attacking the constitution that they defended in other cases, and how they're attacking it now and showing the flaws in the constitution. The irony is actually unbelievable, and I would like to have a discussion with Reino de Beer about this, and I will probably call him at some stage today. And I would do an interview with Reino to give you his input and ideas around what is happening at the moment. So we are sitting currently with a situation in the Concord where submissions have been made by the IEC. All the reasons were given why the election should be postponed. We know that the IEC actually asked a judge to run a campaign in public to see how people feel, and then the judge made the recommendations based on that to say that the election should be postponed till the end of February. In other words, postpone it by 6 months. So instead of it taking place in October, you'll have November, December, January, February. Okay, that'll be 4 months, but 6 months from now. And what that would do is hopefully give time for things for the free and fair component to be brought into the picture. And there were debates about a fourth wave already in the court case. A fourth wave, and what if the fourth wave happens in January or February, and this is already what's being predicted, all the people with the crystal balls. And these are questions that's coming out in the Concord. So there's at the moment discord in the Concord as to whether they should even be involved in this, which means that the IEC hasn't got much further recourse, because the Concord is the highest decision-making body, which means next they need to go to Parliament, and they need to ask Parliament to actually change the constitution. And I can't see how this could happen in time, especially if the official opposition is opposing this. I don't know if a 75% quorum will be met with regards to constitutional change. So we are sitting with a situation where extreme destabilization could take place if the African National Congress cannot have the candidates submitted by the Monday deadline, 5 o'clock. All the monies will have to be paid, and we know that the ANC have not been able to pay their staff, probably because they need to pay the election fees. And the staff knows that once that payment is made and there's no more money in the account, they're probably not going to get paid, and the ANC has asked them to be flexible. Now, believe me, I want the ANC to have their people registered, because I do not want to see the destabilization that will happen if that does not take place. Now, all of these events should not influence the decision of the Concord. The arguments before the Concord is supposed to influence their decision. So they cannot just suggest or believe that there will be destabilization until it happens. And if that happens, there's laws that should deal with people performing illegal acts, if that should happen. And I can't see how it will not. So we are sitting on a knife's edge right now, and there are numerous possibilities that can happen. The best outcome now is for the Concord to postpone the elections, to take the recommendation and postpone it till the end of February for stability in the country. If they do not come to that conclusion, or they decide that the Concord is not a place for it to be heard, and they actually don't give a ruling, which is also, in their opinion, unconstitutional, which means that our Constitution does not take care of a situation like this. Our Constitution was not written for a situation like this, and now we are stuck in a checkmate position, which is not a good position for the country to be in. So it doesn't matter which way this ends up. Someone's going to be upset, someone is going to be disturbed, and many people might be very angry and actually do things that could destabilize the country because of it. So this is something we have to monitor very, very closely. And I'm very disappointed that the last video that I did on the African National Congress and the 6 days they had left to actually get their submissions in, which is now 2 days that's left from 5 o'clock today, how serious a situation that is for stability in South Africa. And all the people on this channel, those of you that have been to my meetings, those of you that have watched the Moments in Time and Question Everything series, will understand why this is such a huge focus for me, when many people might think, but what's the big deal? This is the biggest deal in the history of the country. The biggest deal ever. And this could change your future life and my future life forever, depending on how it plays out. I think sanity will prevail, and the elections will be extended. The DA will be very upset about that, because they would want to grab the opportunity now when the ANC is at their weakest, because they don't consider stability in the country. They don't have a proper feel for the people on the ground. Most of the African National Congress's support are in the rural areas, not in the metros where the DA has a stronghold. And they will never get a stronghold in those areas. They don't actually care about being a ruling party. So their opinion, in my mind, actually does not count. Anyone that wants to become a ruling party, like the economic freedom fighters, they become relevant because they still believe that they can achieve that. Whether that is achievable or not, we will see after the local government elections, and it's going to be interesting to see the massive shift that will happen on the ground, because the shift will be huge. The country will never be the same again after these local government elections, and I can tell you for a fact that the African National Congress will not give up power by any means at this stage, unless the majority of the people in the country, the critical mass, believe in change for a new system, in which case the African National Congress will be irrelevant. Irrelevance is key to the plan to change the political system. If you don't make the current governance system and the current parties in parliament irrelevant, then your plan is bad. It's a plan that cannot work. It's impossible, logically. And the only thing that we stand to prove is that humans, individuals, are willing to become citizens instead of being subjects. And while that is in progress and working on the ground, all we need is the numbers, and then we are the government. So I really want to thank you for watching this video and giving me the opportunity to give clarity around the turning point that we're at now within South Africa. And I really want to thank you for watching this video. Please share it so that more people can be aware of what is happening in the country right now. We are literally at a turning point. Thank you very much. Till the next video.